This American Life. I'm Ira Glass. Today's show, Going Big. Stories of people going full out, pulling out all the stops for those they care for. We have arrived at Act 2. Act 2, Lonely Hearts Club Band of One. Not long ago, a musician named David Berkeley got a call from his booking agent asking if he wanted to take a job that would be unlike any concert he had ever played. Berkeley is a singer-songwriter on the indie music circuit. He gets showcased at South by Southwest. He's toured with Rufus Wainwright and Billy Bragg and Ben Folds, people like that. And though he's played tons of shows all over the country, this one was different. He would fly to San Diego and play inside an apartment for just two people. And his goal would be to reunite the two as a couple. Now, of course, most songwriters want to believe their music has the power to move people's hearts, but rarely does anybody test just how far that goes in such a clear-cut, goal-oriented way. The guy in this couple wanted to be together. The woman apparently did not. Could David Berkeley sing them back together? Could this work? He wanted to believe it could.
He had sent me a long email with kind of the battle plan, which was, the more I read, the more absurd it sort of seemed. The couple had either met at one of my concerts in California or their first date. I think their first date was at one of my concerts. And he was going to do everything he could to get her back. And I think that he decided that one huge gesture was probably what it would take. And so he planned this night from start to finish, which included going to their favorite restaurant and the wine that they were going to order. And then the culmination was going to be the nightcap in their apartment where I was going to pop through the door and sing them their concert. And then he just sort of gave me the plan for how I was going to sneak into the apartment without them knowing, and how I was going to have to actually sneak into the garage, which literally involved me following a car in and trying to get through the gate before the gate closed, and then up a back elevator onto the 8th floor where I would then knock on his apartment door.
Not to ask a kind of dumb question, but couldn't he just send you a key?
Yeah, I guess that didn't cross his or my mind, but yeah, he should have. And I was actually nervous. I play a lot of concerts, and rarely have I been nervous like this. And I guess it was because I had no idea what I was walking into. And I was about to knock on the door. And I started to think about, what is she going to do when I walk in, and I guess I expected that she was just, despite, feeling like things weren't going well, I thought she was going to be really excited to see me, and she would, I don't know what, she would give me a hug, or she would laugh or something like that. And in fact, I opened the door and she just sort of kind of crumpled. She sort of collapsed. Her head kind of fell into her hands, and I think she might have said, I can't believe you did this. He shouldn't have done this. And it was hard for me at this point not to take that a little personally, because without sort of knowing it, I joined sides with this guy. I was on his team. We were coming in to do a job.
Okay, so what do you do?
I think I said something like, hi, I thought I might play you a few songs. And it just felt gross. I felt, why was I even here, And the guy asked me if I wanted to sit or stand, which I normally stand when I perform, but that seemed completely absurd to me, that I was going to stand and perform to these two people in their living room. So I said I would sit, and he pulled a chair up for me, and I was across a small coffee table from them. And they sat down on the couch, and I sat down on my chair, and I started to play.
And so they're on the couch, and are they sitting close together?
God, no. I think it was just a 3-cushion couch, and they were on the left and the right cushions, and there was a big cushion in between.
Now, you have your guitar there. You and I are speaking to each other from different locations. You want to just play a couple lines of the song so we have a sense of what this was?
I should stop right there, because I got about that far in the song and glanced up, and that was enough for her to recognize the song, and she started to cry, which wasn't what I had hoped would happen. A couple on a bridge, a stone bridge in some European town. And after all the years, I see we all fall down. The knock at the front door, the crack in the wall. And right when I sang that part of the chorus, the knock on the front door, it seemed like suddenly I was actually singing a song that was the story of this night.
Yeah. This is a song about a couple for whom things are not going very well.
Yeah, and why I didn't know that and think about that before I started to play it, I don't know. But it was too late, and this happens at times in a performance where you recognize you've made the wrong choice of a song, and you can never really go back, and I had to just barrel through.
And so where do you go? Like what do you play next? Like, what do you do?
Well, I think I played a song that was a story song that was more lighthearted, and I got through that. But the night wasn't getting any easier, and also you have to understand that, after a song finishes, two people kind of clapping a couple of times after you finish a song, it sounds really, really depressing.
I guess I didn't really stop to think about the fact that the song would end and they would either have to clap or not.
Well, that's why this was so weird. The time in between the songs became as painful as the songs themselves.
And so what do you do to try to turn the situation around?
Well, let me first say that, as I'm singing that song, right after I sang the first lyric, I regretted the choice and I started thinking ahead. And when I started racing through in my mind the other songs that I was going to be able to play this night, I started to get really scared because I realized that, not only might it not have been a good idea to hire, a musician to come across the country and sing To Get Back Your Girl, but I was probably the wrong musician to have hired.
Because of your melancholic repertoire.
Exactly. And he knew this, because he knows my music. So maybe on the third or fourth song, I played the song "Straw Man," which is one of the ones that he had asked for, and I'll play a little bit of it. Never quite so clean, she makes the world around me seem lavender and winter green when we're side by side. And that chorus repeats several times. And after about the second chorus, and I looked up and I felt like she softened a little bit, and it seemed like the song was doing a little bit more of its job. And by the end of the song, it really did feel like it had changed something in the room. And she kind of was sitting up a little straighter, maybe, and she was looking at me more, and I even kind of saw her look at him a little and give a little smile. And that was a tiny gesture, but it was so good to see.
And so from there, was it better?
Well, so then we got on a little bit of a roll, but with each song, and even smaller increments with each verse, it seemed like they were symbolically and literally moving closer together. And in fact, by maybe song 5 or 6, they actually were sitting next to each other. And I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I really didn't think there was any chance. And certainly from the beginning of the night till that point, there seemed like there was zero chance. But they started holding hands. And at one point in a song, she lay her head on his shoulder.